Good day, everyone. My name is Alexandra Pia H. Dizon, BSHM1, Irregular Tayu Campus. So, today we're going to talk about compassion. So, what is compassion? We use the word all the time, often interchanging it with kindness, sympathy, or empathy. But compassion is something entirely different, something far more potent. The word itself comes from the Latin roots com, meaning with, and pati, meaning to suffer. Literally, it means to suffer with. Empathy is the ability to feel what another person is feeling. It is the raw emotion of stepping into their shoes. While compassion, however, is what happens when empathy takes action. It is a deep awareness of someone else's suffering, coupled with a profound driving desire to elevate it. It is not a passive emotion, it is a verb. It is a bridge between recognizing a wound and reaching out your hand to heal it. To truly understand compassion, we have to look at how it operates in our daily lives. Because it is not reserved for grand, historic gestures. Compassion lives in the margins of our ordinary days. It is a choice to look away from your phone and truly see the exhaustion on a coworker's face and then offer to lighten their load. It is a decision to hold back a sharp, judgmental comment when someone cuts you off in traffic or makes a mistake, realizing that they might be fighting a battle you know absolutely nothing about. In a world that often rewards speed, efficiency, and self promotion, compassion is a quiet rebellion. It demands that we slow down, step outside of our own egos, and acknowledge that our shared humanity is more important than our individual agendas. But compassion is not always soft, and it is certainly not weak. In fact, it requires immense courage. It is easy to look away from suffering. It is comfortable to shield our eyes from the pain of others because true compassion requires us to be brave enough to stand in the messiness of someone else's grief, anger, or brokenness without trying to fix them, change them, or minimize what are they going through. It is the strength to say, I see you, I am here with you, and you do not have to carry this alone. Furthermore, compassion must also turn inward. We live in a culture of ruthless self criticism where we beat ourselves up for every failure and imperfection. Yet you cannot pour from an empty cup. Self compassion is the foundational realization that you too are human, that you will make mistakes, and that you are just as deserving of forgiveness, patience, and gentleness as anyone else. And ultimately, compassion is the ultimate connective tissue of human society. When we practice it, something incredible happens to our brains and our bodies. Neuroscientists have found that performing acts of compassion lights up the same pleasure centers in the brain as eating chocolate, while simultaneously lowering our stress hormones and strengthening our immune systems. We are quite literally wired to care for one another. When you live here today, remember that you do not need wealth, power, or a massive platform to change the world. You only need the willingness willingness to see the person in front of you. By choosing compassion over judgment and action over apathy, you create a ripple effect. You become the proof that even in the world that can often feel the cold and divided, human warmth still has the power to heal. Furthermore, compassion has a remarkable ability to dismantle barriers and dissolve the hostility that so often divides us. In our modern world, we are constantly encouraged to sort people. Yes, we are constantly encouraged to sort people into categories: us versus them, right versus wrong, ally versus adversary. It is incredibly easy to dehumanize those we disagree with from behind a screen or across a political divide. But compassion forces us to look past labels and ideology to find the human being underneath. It asks us to consider a radical proposition that the person whose views you find most objectionable is also a product of their own pains, fears, and life experiences. When we approach conflict not with a desire to defeat the other person, but with a compassionate curiosity to understand them, the entire dynamic shift. We move from a posture of defense to a posture of connection, opening the door of genuine dialogue and healing that judgment could never achieve. This transformative power becomes even clearer when we look at the historical and global impact of collective compassion. History's greatest movements for justice and equality. We are not fueled by hatred for the oppressor, but by fierce, uncompromising compassion for the oppressed. When Nelson Mandela walked out of prison after 27 years and chose reconciliation over retribution, that was compassion on a monumental scale. When communities rally together in the wake of natural disasters, pouring out resources and love for strangers that they have never met, that is compassion. And yes, it reminds us that we are not isolated islands navigating life in competition with one another. We are profoundly interdependent, that the health of our communities, the stability of our societies, and the future of our world depend entirely on our ability to extend our circle of concern beyond our immediate circles, beyond our borders, and out to the entire human family. Thank you.